All right. Today we'll be doing a little review on the Jagwire cables that I have installed on my Ozark Trail Ridge mountain bike. I'm going to turn this around real quick, let you know pretty much who I am. All right, so my name's John Timms. I have been riding as a hobby bicycles for about 45 years. I've tried every genre of bicycling: mountain biking, road cycling, fixed gear. I've even at one point made my own cargo bike and tried to live car free. I've been around a little bit. I've had BMX. What do they call it? Freestyle trials, bicycling, observed trials. I have done a time trial before, and I was horrible at it. But basically, I have been around bicycles for a very long time, so I don't approach this stuff with lack of knowledge. So, and I do all my own work. Just about everything I can do myself. I started at about 11 years old pulling bicycles out of trash piles and totally refurbishing them and either giving them away or selling them. That got me started on my mechanical journey, and so I have a good amount of mechanical ability when it comes to bicycles. So, and my aim with these videos that I do is not, I don't really want to get monetized or whatever, but I would like that the stuff that I review help other people make informed decisions. And usually I will look and I'll see that there really nothing out there for whatever I'm using, and I'm sure somebody would like to see them. I'm sure they do a YouTube search and realize there's nothing out there. That's kind of frustrating. So that's where I'm at with that. So anyways, let's turn this around. I was not ready to do hydraulic brakes yet. I had a trials bike at one point that had Magura hydraulic rim brakes, and I mean, it was great, awesome. I didn't use it much. I should have used it more, but my knowledge of hydraulic brakes just extends to the motorcycle world, and I've been riding motorcycles probably longer than I've been doing bicycles. So I know a little bit about hydraulic brakes. It's just I was not ready to move up to that yet. Mainly because I would have to run the hose through the frame, which means I would have to break the line and put new ends on it and bleed everything, and I just was not ready for that just quite yet. Indeed, probably within the 6 months to a year, I will do that. But in the meantime, I wanted to have decent brakes. So what I did was I got some 180 millimeter rotors, and they're just no name, whatever, off of Amazon. They're really cheap, $7. Got the adapters, also no name. They're 180s, front and rear. I didn't feel like doing larger on the front than the back, because actually, as far as mountain biking goes, I use my rear brake a good bit to modulate my speed and do different things. And I don't think with mountain biking and like with BMX, I don't think you should have larger disc size on the front than in the back. I think it should be equal. So anyways, I also ordered a set of Jagwire orange compressionless cable, a set of compressionless cable set for mountain bike to try and deal with these radius brakes that are just horrible. I'm telling you what, these are the worst. I mean, I had a framed 29er BMX Cruiser at one point. I don't even remember what the brake was, and it was horrible, but it actually improved quite a bit when I moved up to a 160 rotor from the 140 that it had. But this is horrible. My oldest son's bike has Shimano's. My youngest son's bike has Tektros. I never have a problem from them. I set them and forget them, and they're just decent. You know, for what they need, they work. These radius brakes, every ride I have, something has moved around, something is rubbing. I'm constantly fiddling with them. And they were pretty weak. So I wanted to improve that, at least for a little while, until I move up to hydraulic brakes. So I got these Jagwire compressionless housing and wires, and it has made quite a difference with this bicycle. Not only that, but the 180 millimeter rotors. I don't know why you would. I mean, I know the industry standard is 160, but for a mountain bike that has 29-inch wheels, it really needs to be spec'd with 180 rotors. So anyways, I did not have a problem installing the Jagwire. Now, you will note that with mine, I go with the British and Australian style. The back brake is on the left. Front brake is on the right, mainly because I'm left-handed, but also because at various points in my life I've owned scooters and what a lot of people call mopeds, and they're all the same. Back brake's on the left, front brake's on the right. Or, you know, like with the case of my Aprilia scooters, front brake on the right, back brake actually operates both of them. Either way, rear is on the left. So that's the way I like it. I'm comfortable with that, and I don't have to switch my brain over every time I get on a scooter in order to ride. So anyways, it makes routing a little different. And one of the reasons why I chose this bicycle is because I knew it had regular brake cables that I was going to be able to change over easily. You know, when you do that, if it's internally routed, you have to move it from one side of the frame to the other so that it doesn't rub and look weird and bind and all that. So I ran it through the frame, no problems. A lot of people are worried about that. I did get the little kit right down here. Where is it? I just saw it. It's hiding on me. Anyways, I got a kit to run everything internally. The little magnetic chase that you can put up through there and pull the cables through, but I didn't need it. Down here you have this right there. That's where it comes out at. You undo that screw, pull that plastic piece out, and when you run the cable through, it just comes right past there. I have a hook that I use right here. Just a simple pick hook thing that I pulled it out with. Didn't have a problem with that. Now, I did lose this screw. For those of you who have Ozark Trail ridges, you know that's a little aggravating. Very tiny screw. I lost it, but I had something laying around. I've had years of all kinds of mechanical endeavors, so I've got screws from everything. I think this is from a RC rock crawler, and that worked good. Now this cable housing is a little bit large, so I had to drill the little plastic piece a little bit to get it to fit. Also, once it came out here, I did not choose to put it through the chainstay here. That's because on the Ozark Trail Ridge, it actually comes out of the chainstay right over here. If you'll notice, the caliper, the stop is on this side. Most hydraulic brakes, the stop for the hose is on this side, which makes sense. If it comes out here, it'll be just fine. With a cable housing, it curls it over to here and it binds it there, and it makes it very difficult for it the cable to move in the sleeve. It doesn't want to return easily. As you can see, this returns quite well. With cables, I've learned over the years, and especially with compressionless, this is my first compressionless, but I've had some thick cables that I would deal with on motorcycles that were pretty stiff like that. I've learned they're just like train tracks. You want them mostly straight with easy bends. So what I did was run it underneath and then just brought it around the chainstay right here and on up to the caliper. I have a little bit of tape to hold it in place, and then a couple of zip ties, actually 3 zip ties to hold it in place. Works just fine for me. As you can see right there, I ground off the kickstand holder. I have no use for a kickstand that's going to be right there where your heel hits it all the time. I'm not totally against kickstands, but for a mountain bike that I jump and ride rough with, I just don't need a kickstand. But anyways, then on the front, especially since it's going off to the other side, it would not go through this cable guide without a serious bend down here. So what I did was I went to Tractor Supply. I found these spacers. They're actually for cable. You crimp them down for cable. And I just used that with a zip tie to make a standoff, and it works really well. I also left it a little bit long because I eventually plan to move up to a 120 millimeter fork with this bike, and I don't know when I may come across one, so I left it a little bit long. So it goes out a little ways, but it doesn't really bother me. Plus, it's a more easy bend. So that's how I routed it. And you can see these, I forget what these little things are called, but I like those a lot. The set came with 2 of them, and those are very good quality. They swivel, they hold them together quite well. Everything that came with this kit was high quality. The ends, I really liked the ends. I do feel like the ends were a little bit small. When I went to cut the ends of the cable, it was very difficult to get it trimmed down enough because, you know, it's kind of wide at the end. Trimming it down enough to get these ends on was a bit of a hassle. But they did do it. They're good quality ends. Everything with this set was very good. I'm also happy that there was plenty of length. I ended up with, I want to say, about a foot of cable housing left. And of course, plenty of inner cable. I don't know if I kept this housing or not. Yeah, I don't think I kept. It's only about a foot. There it is. Actually, that's almost 2 feet. So, very nice, because I was a little bit concerned because just in trying to predict how much cable I'm going to need, I noticed this thing's a little bit longer than most mountain bikes as far as that goes. It was like 1,550 millimeters, and a lot of your hydro brakes on Amazon come with only 1,400 millimeters of hose. So I'm very glad that the Jagwire set came with plenty of cable. Total order of business different once I got it on. Just how solid the brakes feel. I mean, just good and solid. I can now skid the rear wheel on pavement. Before, I mean, I had to be on sand, and I had to really crank on that lever. A lot more control for like speed control, whatever, skidding around turns or whatever, with this compressionless brake cable housing. If you're going to stick with mechanical calipers for your mountain bike or your gravel bike, I believe you should go with the Jagwire compressionless housing. It really makes a difference. Also think you need to move up to better calipers. These things are horrible. Whatever these things are. What are they called? Radius? They are horrible. Get you some Shimano's or Tektros or something in that order. Or even go expensive. But with the Paul clampers or whatever. But compressionless housing. Only thing I can fault Jagwire on is that this housing, I would have expected it to be a little bit tougher, and trying to put it in through the frame, I scraped off the covering of that housing a couple of times. You can't tell because I've touched it up with some with a paint pen, but there's a deep scrape right here in the housing, and there's a couple of more down here. I can feel the roughness of where I scraped it. I feel it should have, especially that kind of price that you're paying. It was $40, and normally it retails about $50. I got it on Amazon for $40. I feel like it should have been tougher than that. But I love the color. Color goes with my whole theme here. I've got a red and orange thing going on. That's kind of my colors. When I was working movie construction in Atlanta, you had to color code your tools to make sure nobody got a hold of them or borrowed them or whatever. You knew who your tools were, so I would color code my tools, and red, white, and orange was my colors. So I've continued that theme with my bicycles so I can differentiate them. Everybody knows it's my bike, and that works really good. I like the color. So anyways, this has made a big difference in my bike, and it will serve me well for the next few months, possibly a year, until I can get hydro brakes. I'm a correctional officer, and I do not make much money. The wife had to come home from work so that she could concentrate on her schooling. She's trying to finish up her bachelor's in accounting and finance. So we're not making a lot of money right now. And because it's getting really hot here in Florida, I've switched from riding the trails to riding street at night with my boys. We go ride around town, jump curbs and stuff. So this will serve me well. Of course, it will help me stop well when I'm coming to intersections and there's cars about. So it'll serve me until I can get hydro brakes. And at that time, I will get all the tools to properly do it. There's a tool that puts the end on, and there's the bleed kits that you need. So I'm looking at probably, when I do get hydros, it's going to be 4-piston. I believe I should just go ahead and make the investment and do four pistons. So that will serve me well here in northern Florida. And I guess that's about it. I think that pretty much covers it. But I wanted to do a review of these cables and housing, because there really isn't anything out there, especially for a mountain bike. And they do offer mountain bike sets. There are reviews for road bike housings because of all the gravel bikers, but there may be somebody out there that prefers cable brakes for their mountain bikes. Very few of us, of course. And like I said, I'm not die-in-the-wool, die-hard cable brake person. I just wasn't ready to move up to that just yet. So I will be going to hydraulic brakes eventually with both my bike and with my son's bikes. Now, this little one, for my youngest, I probably won't do that because he's going to outgrow it pretty quick. So, but with my oldest son's, this is a Japanese market bike. It's a cross country. I eventually will probably do hydros for his. Weird thing about this bike, I've not seen this before. This Black Cat. You can only find them on Japanese and Korean websites, but weird thing. The brake disc is riveted on, so I can't move him up to like 180 brake discs. And if we ever wear those brake discs out, we're gonna have to put new wheels on it, which is fine because this wheel set has very narrow rims anyways. But and we may move up to a different bike by then. This was actually given to him by a friend at his church because his BMX Cruiser got stolen. So really nice bike, and all I had to do is replace the cassette and the front chain wheel. I moved it to a single chain ring up front. The 3-chain ring thing, that was just too complicated for my son to deal with, and I get that. I've never really. When I first started mountain biking, I was excited about a 15 speed, 3 in the front and 5 in the rear, until I rode quite a bit and realized just how redundant it was. And I'd actually switched mine to 2 in the front and 5 in the rear, and that was just fine. I managed just great. I had gotten hold of a Suntour freewheel that was 1434, and I had a 26, 36, 46 in the front, so I eliminated the 26, so all I had was the 36, 46, and that served me well. Even in North Georgia, climbing hills and mountains and whatever, I could still crank my way up most hills. It was close to a 1-to-1 26-inch ratio for the lowest gear. So anyways, that's that. I really like the modern 1x systems. Not really crazy about going to a lot of speeds on the back. I honestly think that 8 is enough. Now mine came with a 9, and I will probably stay with that, but you're not going to see me moving up to like 14, or well, not 14, but 12 speed, 10 speed, 12 speed, 11 speed. Really don't care for that. I will stick with a 9 for mine and an 8 for my son's bike, and that's fine for me. I'm just kind of a retro grouch when it comes to that. I don't think it's necessary. I think there should be kind of a decent step between each gear when you change. It's worked for motorcycles and cars for years. I think it works for bicycles quite well too. Anyways, I'll sign off on this. Thank you for watching, and yes, thanks.